lovely people. I'm Shaq and welcome. Today we're gonna do some crafting. I think we're gonna do Ken's conversion on his hair. I've already started it, so it's, well, I'll explain it once we get there. And I'm gonna show you how I altered the wardrobe for Della. And I hope you watched that previous video in which I did that. And I also hope you went back, saw the video just before this one, and I'm doing clay. I'm working on my day job, and doing little fixtures on mugs and honey pots. And so if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that. And if you're not subscribed, please do. And also remember that I have lots of patterns for the tiny little dolls that you can use just for fun or to clothe a tiny little doll. Sewing patterns. And those are on my website, and the link is down in the description. Go check those out. See if you can find something you want. We will be having paper versions available. I don't know about shipping internationally on a paper version. It's always been so much easier to do the digital, but I'm open to it. They will be print on demand. I will not have a bunch of paper patterns in stock. I will print them when they're ordered, and there will be a cover photo that you can put out on the outside of the envelope once you receive it, to use that envelope for storage. So it'll be dual duty there. So you can use the shipping envelope as the storage envelope. And that way we don't have a bunch of waste. And let's see. I think that's it. I hope that's it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to turn around the camera and give you a little tour, and then we'll get started. Here's the finished, altered wardrobe. As you can see, I made the trim on top a lot shorter. I think the depth, the 6 inches, was part of what was making it to where I couldn't get the taller piece in. It was, I didn't have enough room to tilt. And the strip down the middle worked out really well. Let's see if I can reach over here. So I just put on this extra piece, and I used the plane and took down this door to where we had, I don't know, about the same gap as what we have right over here for the hinge, which is about, that looks like 2 millimeters to me. It's about the same width as your paper clip, but it worked out really well. And I did shape this trim piece. It was just a rectangular piece, and I made it to where it had a high spot down the center and kind of tapered at the ends a little bit. Not a whole lot. I don't even know if you can see that, but it gave a little bit of style. And we have all the little shoes. As you can see, boots down there on the bottom and some other things. And I used baskets for organizing some of the stuff on the other side here. Let's see if I can get in and reach in and get a basket. So, little baskets. These are paper baskets, but any kind of basket to hold the little things like purses or underwear or ribbons, and be able to put them on the shelves. Also found a dress that had a much more accommodating neckline, and she borrowed a pair of pants from Etsy, and I'm gonna see if I can find, I made a pair of pants that should fit her a long time ago, but I haven't been able to find them, and the dress is a little short, so it needs a skirt or pants underneath it. Anyway, this is where I'm at on the wedding party. I've got crinolines and of course shirts to go. This is the first sample shirt off the screen over here. And it needs some alterations possibly. And none of the straps are stitched in place. And I want crinolines on the girls. So we've got shirts, crinolines, and maybe some bows. I don't know. There's still some stuff to do. And I'm still going to try and get it done for August. There actually is a challenge for, in the Cindy fan group, to get bridal challenge going on. So it would be really cool if I got it done, because it's only for the month of August. But let me clear these guys away, and then we'll do some other stuff. I have a Ken doll that looks just like the groom. He's going to be the groom's father. I haven't decided for certain whether to call him Kenny or Keegan Senior. Doesn't really matter. Here is some Apoxie Sculpt, which I'm going to use to replace his hair, which I don't know if this is picking it up, but all I did was just remove his hair, and you know, I took off his head, took all the hair from the inside of his head, put his head back on, because this Apoxie Sculpt says that it dries rock hard, and that means that getting his head back on without busting up the hair would have been questionable. So we're gonna do it in place on his body. I've never used this brand before, but it's basically the same as the stuff that I've been using, equal parts. And I've noticed with the other brand that when you're using very, very small amounts, like in this case, I'm going to roll up a pea-sized piece, and then I'm going to try and match it with the other part of the epoxy. I have more luck doing that, or have had more luck doing that, than I have when trying to weigh it on the smaller amounts. I have a fairly good ability to compare and see whether or not it's the same. And yes, you should have rubber gloves on doing this, especially once you start mixing. I think I went from too much to not enough. I go by feel as well as visual. Those look like they're about the same. I'm going to grab some gloves. So I decided to just go with a glove, and we're going to see if we can do this without two hands. Oh, my other hand wants to get involved. And I actually don't know if this is going to be enough. I only wanted to do him really, really short hair. So that's why I decided to go with such a small amount. I also just read that it takes 24 hours for a full cure, which I'm assuming that's what the other stuff takes too. And I just didn't really think about that. Okay, I think it's, color looks pretty even. We're going to take the glove off to do the forming. So I kind of just want to get this top part here covered. And I guess maybe we'll just start with trying to get that edge looking decent. Decent hairdo, right? I don't know, might have made more sense to roll it out. I don't care for the hairline he had. And nope, we do not have enough. So we're gonna have to mix up some more, but we'll get this in place first. There, we're gonna establish a new hairline, just slightly different than the old one. And it's easier for me to tell that they're the same size if I roll them up. I got a sale this morning on one of my Nappy Chew patterns, and every single pattern sale, every single sale. Yeah, we're over here doing a little happy dance. It means a lot to me. And I still have Granny, which I was considering making her a doll stand. That looks about the same. The white, this part, is much stickier, which is the case in the other brand too. The smell off of this is not, there's not very much at all. I'm not actually picking up much of anything. Could be that my senses are overwhelmed right now because I've been using Tester's model paint. I don't know. I don't know how much that affects me long term. Like, it's not something I should use without a mask, but even with a mask, you're still being exposed to it as it cures, and it's just the worst of it when it's open and when the paint is being applied. I don't have any intention of replacing my model paint. It's something that I had from before. In fact, the price tag on it shows that it was from 2005. Or at least it hit the store in 2005, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's not when I bought it. But anyway, it's not a paint I want to continue to use, but it is really the best way to go when you are doing plastics. So we're just going to try and squish it down. Boy, I feel like, once again, maybe I could have done a little bit more. It's a good thing this has a longer work time, in my opinion, especially for this. So I rearrange where it lands. So one of the things you can do with the different epoxy-like resins like this is use water to sculpt it. And the other brand, you'll get it on here like this, and I would take water and smooth it. So I think I'm going to try that, see how well it works on this brand. First, we have to get enough on here. Figure out where I can pull from. So I got one more little area over here. Do I squeeze it over from the top? You know he doesn't want uneven lines. No bad barbers here. Not willing to work with audacity. Which I guess is what, you know, when you take on a project like this that you've never done, you're working with audacity. So he just went to the audacity barber. All right, I'm going to stop and go get some water. That does seem to allow it to be moved easier. Yeah. So it works the same that way. Now, I kind of want to maybe clean up his edges a little. I don't think that this is the right tool for that though. So have any of you redone a hairdo with Apoxie Sculpt or any of the sculpting epoxies, two-part epoxies? You know, I think that the non-brand is epoxy, is how you would say, but I'm not sure. Since Apoxie Sculpt is the brand name, I'd have to go over and read the label on the other stuff I have and see if they call it epoxy. So I'm right at that edge where it had, you know, where all the last of the holes were. Trying to make sure that gets covered, but that we have a nice line. Want his haircut to look better than mine. And I did, you know, did the whole cover him in plastic so that I could move on to doing his, he's going to get lines on his face to make him look older. And I didn't want, you know, you got to go do the coat of Mr. Super Clear between and after, and also didn't want to accidentally get epoxy on his body. I feel like I've got an argument here between hairline that I'm trying to establish and the holes. But it's working pretty good. Don't want that on your face. Well, that worked pretty good. Well, I'm not going to say it's perfection, but I'm hitting a point where I feel like I can stop and do texture. And while I don't want this smooth. I do want, you know, the sculpting blobs. So if you watched the video just previously, you would have seen me use this tool that I'm about to use. I did clean it because otherwise it would turn this totally, have red wear stains, and I don't. They tend to show through if you're doing a light colored paint, which I was going to start with white and see if we could come up with a mixture of white and gray, kind of make it look like he's graying, but more white hair than not. So it's a circle, it's got a convex area, and I think by applying it, we can get a decent color curl pattern looking like. That's pretty good. Just keep going until I'm done. And I'm just going to assume his hair is much like mine, that just because you tell it to go one way doesn't mean it did. Let's pick a spot back here. So just like your fingers have whorls, so does your hair. And one of the things I found fascinating about hair and having kids is that sometimes you can end up with multiple. And the hair on your body, if the baby has tons of fuzz all over the body, will also have whorls. And two of my kids had a lot of baby hair all over, so they have I could see the whorls, and it's fascinating. So it was like whorls in the middle of their that circular pattern right in the middle of their forehead, and patterns like that over well, like two of them on their spaced on their scalp. They said that only one of them had that. And then it's just fascinating to me how different, like your fingerprints, how different it can be. Patterns. Seeing patterns. Do you see patterns everywhere? I don't see patterns everywhere, but I do see a lot of patterns. And do you have more than one whorl on top of your head? I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing we did on the side. So I'm bringing it and breaking the edge now. Now that I went to all that effort to smooth it, I'm breaking it with the curl pattern. Too much. You may have noticed I just changed directions. Again, too much. Yeah, where it's thinner, where I've got the epoxy on here and it's a little thinner, it's really easy to break it too much and lose the pattern. Maybe that's where his hair is starting to thin. Hopefully it stays, you know, like it sticks and doesn't come off. Okay. Okay, then I have to leave that to set up. And I'm going to do just the first few, I think, lines on his face with... So I did a Mr. Super Clear outside. Remove this. Before we did his hair. I don't want that to get... don't want a shadow of epoxy or smash it, so we're going to have to be careful as I set it down here. Push his head forward so that his body kind of protects it from hitting the table. Okay. Also want to wipe off my tool so I don't put it away and have epoxy on it. I don't know how well this is going to show. I have a feeling that I'm going to have to go back over it with darker. It's definitely feeling like this brown is the same color as his skin tone. And the only thing I've got is black. So... oh, that's really strong. I feel like that's a fair location. Now we gotta fade it out. Don't touch your head to the table. if this will work. I feel like I just did stage makeup. And what I want is movie makeup. How many of you out there do face-ups and on the regular on dolls? No, it's not something I do. I mean, I paint my own creations, but I don't do repaints very often. I have some dolls waiting in the wings for that. Well, I think I'm going to let that dry. See if it did what I want. Maybe change it if it didn't. But hope you've had fun watching this process, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.